Durag Wisdom here. I've always loved the movies. I can say that many wonderful hours I spent sitting in the movie theater, in the darkened movie theater, watching on those giant screens the great classics of when I was growing up. I actually saw the original Magnificent Seven in the movie theater. Love the music too. That's why a lot of times you hear music in the background. Most of the music I play is from movies. This particular one is Jerry Goldsmith, is one of my favorites. Growing up, watching movies and hearing his score and reverberating throughout the movie theater. Whenever I went on vacation, always found time to go to a movie theater, a local movie theater. One time we were on Catalina Island. My brother, a friend of ours, and myself, we went to Catalina Island when we were kids, just after my father died. And they had a beautiful movie theater inside a casino. They called it the Casino Building. You know, on the beach, you'd curve along the beachfront there, and you see this beautiful round building. It's a casino building, also a movie theater. I saw Where Eagles Dare in there. That was Richard Burton and Clint Eastwood, and it was that was an entertaining, a beautiful movie theater. You should have seen this movie theater. It reminded me of the Hawaii movie theater on Hollywood Boulevard. They took great pains in those days when they were palaces. Even some of the local theaters, they took pride cleaning it, giving it a nice ambiance. Unlike today, where you walk into these giant-size multiplexes, characterless place where somebody could go in and stand up on a stage or in the back of a theater and just blow everybody away with an automatic weapon. Yeah. See, I stopped going to the movie theater because they started with the commercials, you know. Beginning, you walk in 20 minutes before the movie comes on, or whatever, 10 minutes, they have commercials going. I mean, is anything sacred anymore? And as much as I hate commercials, so between the stupid multiplexes and the characterless multiplexes and the killers that can come in and blow you away, and the lack of respect for the motion picture art. And it is an art. If you do a good movie, everything works because it's collaborative. No, not one person makes the movie. I mean, it may start in the mind of one person, but it's collaborative. Many people are involved in the making of a movie. I mean, I wrote a screenplay. I never wrote one before, but I got a program. Many of you can do that. I got Final Draft. Nowadays, you can just you could write a screenplay on a computer. In the old days, if you could imagine that, when Billy Wilder, who did Ace in the Hole, The Apartment, among others, Double Indemnity, imagine sitting in front of a typewriter and having to do all the formatting that a screenplay requires, and with the computer, it's just a touch of a button. You can write a lot you can just concentrate on creating. And don't think that I believe the movies are. I mean, it's a cutthroat business, and you got a lot of assholes working in it. I mean, the people that we go to see, you know, we're fans of, quote unquote. I mean, many of them, if you walk up to them on the street, they're going to say, "Get the fuck away from me." You know, they're a bunch of rich assholes who just want to be left alone. Well, why would they want to be on a big screen then? Hey, people have their urges. What are you going to do? It's a job. They give me a good performance, that's all I care about, and I'm realistic about their attitudes toward the common people. Yeah, I want to write I want to get involved, and get in, have a script put in, and have a recognition in that regard. But what happens if you get that recognition and they want you to be a hack? I mean, they take people in Hollywood and they chomp them up and they spit them out. If you want to see a good example of that, I mentioned The Day of the Locust. But also check out Sunset Boulevard and The Player, The Bad and the Beautiful. I mean, these are some of these movies that are about to deal with the cutthroat Hollywood, the dark Hollywood. So in the meantime, I watched a couple of movies, the remake of The Magnificent Seven and by Antoine Fuqua. He did Training Day, and The Birth of a Nation by Nate Parker, who is going to be an up-and-coming. This guy is going to be up-and-coming. This Nate Parker, he directed, produced, and wrote co-wrote The Birth of a Nation. And that's not The Birth of a Nation by D.W. Griffith. That's a silent movie, considered a classic, and one of D.W. Griffith was a pioneer of the moving image art, but he was a racist, and his movie Birth of a Nation, the silent film, was a movie that praised the KKK. In fact, the original title of that film was The Klansman. D.W. Griffith. He was like the Mel Gibson of his day, you know, racist and anti-Semite now, you know, whatever it was. But still, art, I mean, I recognize the artist for whatever flaw, and I have to still try to appreciate the art. But Nate Parker his movie is about Nat Turner. And for 48 hours, Nat Turner, a black man who was enslaved, rose up with some other followers, and they destroyed, murdered these freaking slave owners until they were captured, and of course they were, as far as I've seen, they were lynched. And I watched that movie, and I'm going to give you, I got spoiler alerts because, you know, when I analyze movies, I mean, I'm not going to tell how the movie, the way, look, Nat Turner was murdered. He was hanged. That I'm going to tell you. But I will warn you about spoiler alerts. And let me tell you, if anything makes me ashamed to be a member of the human race, is watching what we have done to our fellow humans. It is. So I'm watching Nat Turner. You know, they want to build up to when the rebellion takes place. It's all done dramatically. You know, it's a dramatic movie. So you got to have a story. You got to have like a kind of a plot, thing. So the white people are forcing Nat Turner, played by Nate Parker. He directed. He also starred in the movie. They're forcing him to preach because he was taught how to read according to this movie, reading the Bible, and he goes out and preach. He has to preach to all these downtrodden people who are being treated like scum. I wanted to kick my TV in. So he goes to this one plantation where they're treating these people like, and there's a scene. He goes in, and there's these people are chained up, and one of them won't eat. One of these folks won't eat. So you know what they do? They try to force him to eat, and they won't. So he takes a hammer, hammers the man's teeth out. Imagine a human being hammers his teeth out, and then shoves the funnel in his mouth and makes him eat this gruel. And then I thought about Jeff Sessions when I was watching that movie, and that's why movies are so important to me. Along with reading, which I do a lot of that too. Reading and movies, I love them. And music. So, Jeff Sessions, the new so-called Attorney General, who will never represent me. Never. Will never represent me. A racist turd who spent his life, dedicated his life to making sure that black people can't vote. And here he is, Attorney General, because of this piece of shit, this birther bastard. And he would love that. He would love to see slavery back. where black people are downtrodden and lynched and murdered and everything else. Jeff Sessions. So then I was watching Magnificent Seven, really interesting, and I enjoyed the characters. They really made it multicultural, multiracial, not all white people anymore. It's like all like different, like that. And they have 3 white people, and then they got a Chinese person. They got like, they got an Indian person, a black person, and they were dealing with in this version, this remake. They're dealing with a greedy piece of shit who's a mine owner who wants to take over the whole town. He shoots people, threatens people, and that reminds me of Don Trump now. The birther bastard and his pirate crew of rich scumbags in his cabinet. You see? I'm saying to myself, geez, folks, anytime you watch a movie, and you should see this creep. He wants to destroy. He burns the church down at the beginning of the movie. And that's real, man. This is real. It's the movies, but now we're in a movie. We're in a crazy movie where our country's been co-opted by enemies who want to turn it into Russia. Putin Russia. It's important to wake up, folks. Use every bit of art to wake up and understand that our country is under siege. And it's the artists and the newspapers, the writers who tell us so. And they know.